Entering Kenmore. Doors will open on the left.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the final part of our now 7-part MLB Season Preview. We made it. It is finally opening day. How are you guys feeling? We finally made it to baseball season. Our two respective teams are going to dictate our mental health for the next 6 months, and knowing both of these squads probably make us very angry for very prolonged periods of the summer.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again. The Boston Red Sox play real baseball tomorrow, so that is going to be very exciting. Garrett Crochet on the bump in Cincinnati, which is going to be very fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all these teams have in 2026.
I am also very excited. Opening day. It's a special day. I mean, just growing up watching baseball my entire life, I always get so excited for when these teams take the field and the games actually count and they actually matter. And you got to be especially excited because even though we're going to get frustrated like any baseball fan will, we both have teams that are projected to make the playoffs. So very excited about that. I'm ready to get this thing rocking and rolling here, and it's good to see baseball is back.
All right, so we're going to go through all of our division winners, our playoff predictions, and some of our award predictions, including MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, 2 breakout candidates from one from each league, and then obviously our World Series predictions. So just as a refresher, let's just rattle off our division winners first. I don't know, whichever one of you guys wants to start, you can fire it off.
I can go first here. I have the Mariners winning the AL West, the Blue Jays winning the AL East, the Tigers winning the AL Central. Then over in the National League, I got the Dodgers winning the West, Cubs winning the Central, and the Mets winning the East.
For me, my division winners are Dodgers in the NL West, Cubs in the NL Central. I have the Phillies in the NL East. That may have changed because I think I might have picked the Braves last week or 2 weeks ago, but I am going with the Phillies now. I'm feeling good about the fighting Phils. In the American League, I have the Seattle Mariners in the AL West, the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central, and like we discussed last night, I have your guys' Boston Red Sox taking home the AL East crown.
For my division winners, I have the Mets taking home the NL East, the Cubs taking the Central, the Dodgers in the West. Over in the American League, I have the Blue Jays winning the AL East, the Tigers winning the AL Central, which that did change from the AL Central preview. I was a Guardians guy back then. I've changed my tune on that one. The Mariners in the West, and if you missed any of our breakdowns of the divisions where we give all of our picks and discuss each team in a pretty decent amount of depth, make sure to go back and check out those videos. How do you guys want to run through the wild cards? You want to start just we rattle them off like that and then kind of discuss things from there?
Works for me.
Alrighty, David.
Okay, so I have the Red Sox as the first wild card in the American League. I'll go Yankees number 2. That could be interchangeable, but I think both of those teams make it. And finally, I have the Royals getting the third wild card in the American League. I'm going Phillies, Braves, and Brewers in that order for the National League.
For me in the American League, I have got the who do I have one? The Astros number 1. I have the Blue Jays number 2, and I have the New York Yankees 3rd. In the National League, I have the Braves as the first wild card, the New York Mets as the second wild card, and the final wild card, the 6th seed, the Milwaukee Brewers.
So we all pretty much have the exact same playoff structure now that we're rattling through it. So I have the Braves, Phillies, and Brewers as my 3 wild cards in the National League, and the Red Sox, Yankees, and Royals coming in. Obviously, I think the key difference between both of ours is we have the Royals in and not the Astros. So, George, if you want to kick it off, what's your thought process on the Astros?
I just like the addition of Tetsuya Ime. Spoiler alert, he is going to be winning one of my awards here. I think that if Yordan Alvarez can stay healthy and stay on the field, he's a 40 home run bat, and he has not been able to do that. So I'm kind of banking on him staying healthy. I know the Astros have taken a little bit of a downward turn here since they won the World Series in 2022. They had 7 straight years there when they went to the American League Championship Series. They have not been the last 2 years. But I think this is a rebound season for them. I like Correa back there, even though I don't like Correa as a player with the whole trash can banging thing. I mean, I think him and Jose Altuve and Jeremy Pena in the infield. I think Christian Walker is going to have a bounce back after a real tough year coming over from Arizona. And the rotation, even though losing Framber Valdez, they do have Hunter Brown, who really broke out last year. So I do like the Astros to get back to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be the Astros and the Royals battling it out for that last spot. Those were the two teams I was between when I was looking through and trying to figure out where I wanted to go. But I think I give the slight edge to the Royals here. I like their rotation a little bit more. Cole Reagans, I think, is going to have a bounce-back year. Obviously, he battled injuries for the bulk of last year, and you mentioned the guy that you had winning one of your awards. Well, a guy I have winning one of my awards is Bobby Witt Jr. I think he's going to cement himself as one of the best players in baseball. Not that he already hasn't, but I have him taking home the American League MVP, so I just think he's going to propel this offense with a bunch of other really nice pieces. Maikel Garcia coming off of the WBC MVP. I think he's going to continue to ride that momentum into a really nice regular season. Vinny P behind Bobby Witt, obviously power hitting first baseman, another guy who had a really nice WBC, and I think is going to continue to push that into a good regular season. And then Jack Caglione, obviously he was a really highly touted prospect last year coming out of Florida and didn't necessarily put the pieces together in a limited amount of time before he got hurt, but I think he's going to bounce back in a big way this year. Like, that pedigree doesn't just come out of nowhere, and he has big time power, and I think he's going to be a big beneficiary of the Royals moving the walls in to make it a little bit easier to hit some home runs. So yeah, I think the Royals are going to edge out the Astros, but curious what you think, David.
Yeah, I want to echo all of that on the Royals. I think they just have more intriguing pieces and more upside than the Astros do at this point. I feel like most of the Astros core is kind of over the hill at this point, aside from Yordan Alvarez. I like Hunter Brown and Tatsuya Imai as a 1-2 punch there, but the rest of the rotation kind of concerns me. Josh Hader's kind of already dealing with injuries, so the back end of that bullpen is kind of up in the air as well. So I think the Royals might just be the more stable team at this point in time. I also kind of toyed with picking the A's just because they're exciting. And I also toyed with picking the Pirates in the National League, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. But yeah, I like the Royals. I like where they're at. I think if guys take steps forward, a lot of young guys that still have to develop further at the major league level, but I'm confident in the Royals squad this year to at least make the playoffs. Well, what they do past that, I'm not super high on, but I think they'll at least get there.
I also toyed with the A's, but I just couldn't get there with their pitching. I that was my one holdup. I was so close. I wanted to so badly, just to, like, they're a fun team. We talked about it. I'm gonna love watching them and just hammering the over in that AAA shoebox that they play in out in Sacramento. Yeah, I got really close to that, but couldn't get to the finish line when I was jotting them down. Over in the NL, I now forget what everyone has in the NL. So if we want to just rattle those off again, Braves, Phillies, Brewers are my 3.
Those are my 3 as well.
I have the Braves, Mets, and Brewers.
Oh, okay, so I guess we don't really need a whole lot of discussion on that one because we all have the same 3 teams. So let's keep on trucking along and start with our MVPs in the awards. I already gave my AL MVP away, so if one of you guys want to give your, let's just go AL first so we don't forget.
Sure. All right. I'm going to go Vladdy Jr. here. In the interest of not being chalky, I think it's probably Aaron Judge's award to lose once again. But I like the upside of Vladdy Jr. He's obviously never won the award, but if the Blue Jays are going to go as far as they did last year, they're going to need a huge season from Vladdy Jr. I like the homer potential. I like he's been more of a speed demon than I would have expected. So I think he's more of a do-it-all type of player than people may give him credit for. I'm expecting a big year for him, obviously inking the long-term extension there, so we shouldn't have any concerns about that. And I'm hoping for a big year. I'm just hoping for some more variety in these awards this year. Like, it's been Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge for now the last 2 years. So can we get someone else in here for once? You know, obviously the betting favorite is Aaron Judge once again, but I just wanted to be different. So I'm going with Vladdy Jr.
Zach, I am going with the same pick as you. I am also going with Bobby Witt. It is insane that he didn't win the award 2 years ago in 2024, one of the best seasons that a shortstop has ever had. He's a platinum glover over there at shortstop. He's going to steal a bunch of bags. He's going to steal a bunch of bags. He's going to hit for power. He's a 5-tool player. I think this is the year that he finally breaks through and gets over Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is probably going to have another really nice season, but I just think Bobby Witt's going to edge him out. I think he's that special of a player.
Yeah, well, Aaron Judge is not off to a great start in his MVP campaign, seeking out the three-peat, so with a golden sombrero tonight. But you said it, George, 5-tool player. It's a shame he didn't get the MVP a couple years ago, one of the best offensive seasons we've seen since when A-Rod was playing shortstop, I think it was. So just sucks there, but I think he's finally going to break through, and I think it helps that the Royals are going to get back to the playoffs this year, and he's going to be the number one guy propelling them there. Just, again, I think it's going to benefit the Royals a lot. They already had ridiculous home road splits last year, offensively hitting the ball way better at home. So now that they're moving in the fences, I think that's only going to become even more of a home field advantage. And I want to investigate the pass squatch out there for stealing signs, because that's the only possible answer there. If we want to bounce over to the NL, I went chalk. I took Ohtani. I just think he's the best player of all time. Yeah.
If he's going to pitch, I don't see
I
don't see anybody beating him if he's going to pitch and hit and keep any sort of the same production. So the guy's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. David, you sounded like you didn't want to go chalk, so who'd you go with?
No, I didn't go chalk here once again. I have Juan Soto finally winning his first MVP. I think I picked him last year too, and it didn't work. So maybe this is the year for it. I have the Mets winning that division. Obviously, Soto's going to be a big part of that. So in the interest of not being chalky, I went with Juan Soto. But yeah, like Aaron Judge in the AL, this award is also Shohei Ohtani's to lose.
Yeah, George, like you said, if he's going to pitch, I just don't see how there's any way he doesn't win the award again.
Yeah.
Like I said it when we were previewing the Dodgers, I think he's the best player to ever play, better than Barry Bonds. Obviously
better than Babe Ruth.
Well, all three of us are better than Babe Ruth, so you don't have to. That's not even a competition. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough for anybody other than Ohtani to win it. The Dodgers, I think, are going to rival the Mariners' win record, and they're going to be they're far and away the favorite to win the World Series again. So yeah, I think Ohtani is a slam dunk for that one. Moving over to the Cy Young Awards, we'll do the same thing here. AL Cy Young. I know me and David have the same one, so George, let's let you kick this one off.
I'm guessing I've got the same one as you guys. Garrett Crochet. I talked about him in at length last night. I'm sure you guys talked at length today when you guys were recording earlier. I mean, the guy is just a number one A1 ace horse that you throw out there on opening day, and he's a guy who, I said this last night, but you're going into game one of a playoff series. There's no doubt in anybody's mind who's getting the ball. It's Garrett Crochet, and you're feeling pretty damn good about it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. He has become the workhorse of the Red Sox rotation. He has proven that he can go through a full season's worth of workload and pitch well in the playoffs. I'm expecting another step forward from him this year, if that's even possible. And Tarek Skubal is obviously in a prove-it year, so I think he will be very close in the conversation with Garrett Crochet, but I have Crochet beating him out this year.
Yeah, I think the argument could have been made for Garrett Crochet last year to win it over Tarek Skubal. I think it was a lot closer than the votes ended up being, and a lot of people were giving it credit for. I think maybe we'll start to see a little bit of voter fatigue here with Skubal on the Cy Young, especially if the numbers are close, especially as close as they were last year, where there were a lot of analytical people saying that Crochet should actually be the favorite to win it and voting for him, whereas some of the more traditional voters are leading with Skubal. So I think if it's close, they'll opt to give it to Crochet, and that's not a knock on Crochet. I glazed him pretty heavily in entering Kenmore, as you predicted, George. He's everything you could have he's everything you could have wanted in when you were making that trade. He answered every single question. He passed every test last year with flying colors, and somehow, some way, he's going to get better. And I fully believe that. I said it this afternoon on that episode where I think if he continues on this trajectory, he's going to be one of the best pitchers of all time. He's going to find himself in Cooperstown. So yeah, I think this is going to be the first Cy Young in what is going to progress to be a Hall of Fame career. What about over in the NL? I went chalk on this one. Fair warning.
Oh,
Zach,
so did I.
We're 4 for 4 here in terms of picking the same thing. I have also got Paul Skeens.
It's hard not to. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
It's just I don't see anyone else beating him out for this award. And I know you mentioned voter fatigue with Tarek Skubal, but I think it's Paul Skeens is above voter fatigue, and he's only won one so far. And I also expect the Pirates to be better, so maybe that helps with the win total, which all these boomers pay attention to more so than stats you actually should be paying attention to in 2026. But yeah, I expect another ungodly season from Paul Skeens, and he should run away with this award.
One guy I was thinking about, didn't end up picking him, obviously, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto, World Series MVP from last season. Guy is unbelievable. He's another workhorse, ace type of guy. The only reason that, not the only reason, because Paul Skeens is unbelievable, but one of the big reasons why I did not end up going with Yamamoto is the Dodgers are going to win that division by 10 plus games, and they're not going to have to press the gas pedal as much as the Pirates are going to need to with Skeens to win games down the stretch, and I think that will limit some of his innings and his potential to win the award.
Yeah, I said it when we were previewing the Pirates. I think Paul Skeens is on the trajectory to become the greatest pitcher of all time, period. What he's doing at such a young age, just absolutely dominating the sport, is unlike anything you've ever seen. Talk about appointment television. Every time Paul Skeens is taking the mound, he has the ability to strike out 15 guys if he wanted to, it feels like. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to beat Paul Skeens. I also kicked around the idea of Yamamoto, but everything you said, George, maybe they're going to limit his innings because obviously he pitched deep into the World Series, pitched in 3 games for them, won 3 games, so obviously a lot of mileage on that arm last year, so I could totally see that being valid, but it'd be pretty crazy if we didn't see somebody win back-to-back Cy Youngs since the early 2000s, and then back-to-back years we have guys taking it home.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Moving on, the American League Rookie of the Year. This is one I did not go chalk in. My Rookie of the Years, I tried to go outside of the box because I think picking Connor Griffin and Kevin McGonigal would be boring. Those are the top 2 prospects in baseball.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I picked Kevin McGonigal because I just think it's so obvious. Like, you make the opening day roster. We talked about it in the AL Central preview that his only real competition was Zach McKinstry, or I believe. So I think he's going to burst onto the scene. I have the Tigers winning this division. I think he's going to be a big part of that. This award's interesting because you saw Nicholas Kurtz kind of come out of nowhere and snatch that award away from his teammate, really, Jacob Wilson, who kind of not fell apart, but tailed off down the stretch. So this is one of those awards that could change pretty quickly, but I just felt like going chalk here. I'm not as big of a prospect guy as both of you, but I have high expectations for the Tigers and McGonigal as well.
I kind of gave mine away during the wild card portion of this episode, but I am going with Tetsuya Ime. Is it Ime or Imai? Or are both of those wrong?
I think it's Imai.
Imai. Okay. I'm going with Imai, coming over from Japan. Lot of positive talk about him coming into this season, and the Astros are going to rely on him pretty heavily. And guy with a lot of experience in professional baseball, albeit not the Major League Baseball level, but still the NPB is the second best league, I think, in the entire world. So coming over from Japan to here, it should be a pretty smooth transition, at least in year one here. We saw that with Shota Imanaga last year, or I guess 2 years ago. So I like Imai to take that award.
So I went with Samuel Basallo from the Baltimore Orioles. I tend to go with guys that had got a cup of coffee the season before when looking at Rookie of the Year. I just think they had a whole offseason to adapt to what they were getting beat with in their first Major League appearance and also figure out what some of the weaknesses that the guys could attack him with. And I think Kevin McGonigal's a fantastic player, and I think that with his contact skills, there's really not going to be much of an adjustment period for him jumping into Major League Baseball. But I think that home runs are sexy. They sell. Hitting high exit velo bombs that go 10 million feet are going to be way flashier. We saw it with, like you said, Nicholas Kurtz out in Oaklamento, and he hit 30 plus home runs last year, and I think Basayo has that type of power as well. I think he had the best power in the minor leagues going into last season, including Kurtz. So yeah, I went with Basayo. I think he's gonna have a huge year for the Orioles, no matter where they play him. Over in the NL, similar thought process for me. I went with Sal Stewart of the Cincinnati Reds. Obviously, they play in the Great American Small Park, and that is pretty much hitter's paradise for a guy like Stewart. He hits the absolute crap out of the ball. Max exit velo at 113.7 in AAA last year, which was 96th percentile. His 50th percent exit velocity was 96.2, and then in a cup of coffee last year in 55 ABs, he hit 255 with an 838 OPS with the same hard hit rates and barrel percentages that we were seeing in AAA. So I think playing in that ballpark is going to be a huge help to him, and I think he had the fourth lowest odds at like plus 650. So I think that was pretty good value too. Again, I just didn't want to go with Connor Griffin, partially because that's chalk and that's no fun, and partially because I just don't know when the Pirates are going to call him up, if they're going to manipulate his service time, and if that's going to be enough to get him there.
Yeah, the Pirates do tend to mess around with service time. We saw it with Paul Skeens, who probably should have made the opening day roster now 2 years ago or whatever it was. But I went with Nolan McLean, kind of on the similar thinking of you, Zach, who already had a cup of coffee last season. I know he looked a little bit shaky in the WBC, but I have the Mets as the division winner. It helps they bring in Freddie Peralta, so the Mets don't look for Nolan McLean to really be the ace of this staff in year like 0.5. But I like the upside here. And I think it helps that some of the pressure is taken off of him. And I'm expecting a big year. I wanted to go pitcher in here. I think it could have been easy, like you said, to take Connor Griffin or even JJ Weatherholt for the Cardinals. But I like McLean's chances for this award.
Well, I did take the easy route here. I did pick Connor Griffin, a guy with 30-30 potential. I know he's only 19, and the Pirates are going to screw around with his service time with Bob Nutting and that joke of front office and leadership that they have out there at PNC Park. But I do think eventually he's going to force the hand of the Pirates front office to get up there sooner rather than later. And I know he didn't have the best spring, but I think he'll figure it out rather quickly, even at a young age, and become a star before our eyes. I really did want to pick Moises Ballesteros, or I guess that would be for the breakout player. I don't think Ballesteros is
no, he's eligible still.
Oh, he is?
Still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for this or the breakout, I wanted to pick him, but I just don't think he's going to play enough. He did make the opening day roster, but I just don't think he's going to have the at-bats to win that award. So.
Yeah, I also kicked him around when I was flipping through some guys that I was interested in, but we kind of talked through it when we talked about the Cubs. I just don't know what's going to happen when they get back to full strength with Seiya Suzuki back healthy, and he seems like a pretty easy candidate to lose ABs if he's not lighting the world on fire, which it's tough to expect from a rookie to immediately come in, make your first opening day roster, and light the world on fire. But, so moving on to the breakout, I guess you didn't let the cat out of the bag on that one, George, but we'll start with the AL breakout. I picked Wilyer Abreu from our Boston Red Sox. I picked him as my hitter breakout for the Red Sox earlier this afternoon, and I think he's going to break out in a big way and have an all-star campaign. He obviously had an awesome WBC. He is going to hit lefties for it the first time. He supposedly fixed his problem where chasing fastballs up in the zone, and he started to prove that point by taking a fastball up in the zone deep off of Team Japan in that WBC, where he, I think, should have won the MVP, like I said, but I think this is going to be a big season for Willier. He's not a 5-tool player because he doesn't have speed, although he's not the slowest guy around, but he's a real 4-tool player, back-to-back Gold Gloves, playing right field at Fenway Park. I think it's going to be a big year for Willier. I think he's going to hit 25, 30 home runs and hopefully a full season of health. Another thing that we talked about this afternoon, where he's had some really freaky injuries where he slipped down the stairs and missed a month with a sprained knee or whatever it was. So hopefully he can stay healthy and put together a really nice season, because the Red Sox are going to need him if they're going to find a way to hit some home runs and win some baseball games.
Yeah, hopefully Willier Abreu can avoid the 2K auto-generated injuries this season. I went with a different Red Sox in Connolly Early. I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I think he's going to break out in a big way for the Red Sox this year. He made the opening day rotation. I expect him to be a mainstay in this rotation throughout the entire year and prove why he deserved the spot out of spring. He had a great spring, and I expect him to build off of that and build off of his debut, which saw him pitching in the winner go home game against the Yankees. And it didn't help that the Red Sox couldn't score any runs for him, but he pitched very well in the playoffs. And I'm expecting a big step forward for him in year 2.
I went with another guy, Zach, that you mentioned a little earlier. I went with Jack Caglione. A bad year last year. He had high hopes coming out of Florida as the 6th overall pick, one of the top prospects in baseball. Only played in 62 games, but he put up a negative 1.3 WAR, only hit 7 home runs. It just did not go well for him last season, but I think starting the year with the big club here and just having all that time on the off season, he has the talent, he has the swing, he has the capabilities, and I do think that this is the year that he his first full season where he really puts it together and becomes a name that baseball fans know.
Yeah, I thought about going with him too. I said that I was pretty high on the the Royals earlier. I have them making the playoffs. I have Bobby Witt as my MVP. That was a name I kicked around. Ultimately, I went with the homer pick. I'm a Red Sox fan, so I picked the Red Sox guy. But yeah, I like Caglione. I said it. I like him to break out in a big way this year and become that top prospect that lit the world on fire in spring training last year and had huge power to make him one of the best prospects in baseball. Moving over to the NL breakout. I feel like I've been going first a lot, so if maybe we go in reverse order. George, you can go first on this one.
Yeah, I had a tough time coming up with a breakout here, and I don't know if this is technically a breakout because the guy finished in 13th in MVP voting his rookie year and won Rookie of the Year, but he has been going down every season, at least in terms of WAR, and last year he had his worst season to date. That is Michael Harris of the Atlanta Braves. Again, I don't know if this counts as a breakout because he kind of already has broken out, but last year he didn't have a good season last year. OPS of just 678. He did have a career high in 20 home runs, but that is because he played by far his most games at 160. The Braves are going to need his bat this year, and I think he has a big bounce back, has his best season to date as a pro, and really comes back onto the scene after going in a downward trajectory since his rookie season.
I am staying in the NL East here. I picked this guy to win Rookie of the Year last year, and it certainly did not pan out. But for some reason, I am high on Dylan Cruz, who didn't even make the opening day roster for the Nationals. But at some point, we have to see this go for Dylan Cruz. And I refuse to believe he's going to spend the entirety of this season in the minors for the Nationals, who have nothing to play for. I think he's going to start off hot in AAA, force the Nationals' hand, and put together a productive season that gives Nationals fans some hope for the future of Dylan Cruz, because really he hasn't given anything to write home about thus far in his major league career. And I hope this is the year for him because I like Dylan Cruz a lot, and hopefully it pans out. Maybe this is more of wishful thinking, but yeah, I have Cruz here.
I'm not giving up on Dylan Cruz, but I can't say that he would have been my pick for this one, that's for sure. Especially after he didn't crack the Nationals opening day roster, which is tough, especially after they expended that type of draft capital on him. I went with a really popular one, but this is one of my certified guys, a Boston College legend. I've seen this on Twitter as a breakout a million times, but again, I don't care because I'm an Emmett Sheehan guy, and that's my pick here. He missed all of 2024 with an elbow injury and came back in came back last season, 73 and a third innings for a 10.92 K per nine and a 2.82 ERA, a 2.93 FIP shows that was pretty consistent to what the results we were seeing on the field. When you take a look under the hood, he just gets a ton of chase, 91st percentile in chase percentage, 93rd percentile in whiff percentage. I think Emmett Sheehan, he's going to be healthy for the first time completely in since 2023, I guess, because he missed all of 24. So yeah, I think Emmett Sheehan's going to be a big part of this really loaded Dodgers lineup, and it's going to help that he is going to be on a team that's going to win 110 games in the regular season, because that, again, like you said, David, the Boomers love the wins and losses, and I guess there isn't actually a vote for a breakout player of the year, but if there were, Sheehan would be in good shape with the wins and losses.
What do we got next here?
Do we want to do Rolaids Relief Man or the Manager of the Year?
Let's go.
What you got, George? I'll
I was
defer
going
to
to
you.
say the Rolaids Relief Man.
Yes.
All right. I don't think we need to get too deep into some explanations here, but I'll just rattle off both of mine. In the American League, I've got Aroldis Chapman. I think that the Red Sox offense is going to be questionable, at least a little bit. They're going to struggle to hit home runs, so they're going to struggle to win games when guys have big nights on the mound. Obviously, I think they're going to be a little bit better putting the ball in play. They added some guys who limit strikeouts, and Caleb Durbin, and Roman Anthony obviously has an incredible eye, even at just 22 years old. So, along with the players they already had, Wilyer Abreu, again, when I was talking about him this afternoon as a Red Sox breakout, I said I think he's going to be one of the few guys that's actually allowed to use the ABS system. And I think when a guy like Alex Cora trusts you to use something like that, then that just goes to show you how highly he thinks of you. Like, I think Cora does little things in that way to kind of give fans signals as to who really are his guys. So yeah, I guess the Red Sox are going to be in a lot of save situations. Aroldis Chapman coming off of a career year. I'm just going with him to have another back-to-back good year now that Connor Wong taught him to listen to the pitch comm to throw a fastball in the strike zone.
Yeah, basically the only thing we can thank Connor Wong for during his time in Boston. I went with Andres Munoz because I think the Mariners are going to be the best team in the... Thank you, George. I think the Mariners are going to be the best team in the American League pretty comfortably, in my opinion. And obviously Munoz is an electric factory in the ninth inning for them. I expect him to get a lot of saves, and the back end of this bullpen is really solid, so they should give him some cushion there as well, and it helps that the rotation is otherworldly. So yeah, I'm in on Munoz this year.
Yep, I am piggybacking off of David here. Everything David said, coming off a 38 save season. Going to be the best team in the American League in my book. Going to be a lot of save situations, so I am going with Munoz as well.
Over in the NL, I'm taking none other than Abner Uribe of the Milwaukee Brewers. I thought about going Edwin Diaz for a similar reason why I kicked around going with Yamamoto for Cy Young. Obviously, the Boomers love the wins and losses, and I think that the Dodgers are going to win so many games by more than 4 runs that Diaz just isn't going to be in a lot of save situations to really rack up that number, whereas the Brewers, similar to the Red Sox, they're a team that's going to be very reliant on their pitching to win them baseball games. They're going to have to win a lot of low-scoring games, especially down the stretch if they're going to sneak into this third wild card spot, and I think Uribe is the best arm back there in that bullpen. I know Tyler Megill is in the mix there too, but I think Uribe's stuff is going to... but I think Uribe's stuff is going to shine through, and he's going to take claim of that job pretty quickly.
I agree with the Edwin Diaz sentiment because I also had him for this award before I thought about it a little more, and I also think the Dodgers are going to win too many games in non-save situations for that to factor in. I went with Daniel Palencia of the Cubs.
All right.
Yeah, George and I are on the same wavelength for Rolaids reliever, I guess. But yeah, maybe it's recency bias because he looked great in the WBC, but also even last year towards the end of the season, I mean, he was their closer and I think they're going to be in more close games than the Dodgers would be. And Palencia is also pretty young, so I like him taking a big step forward this year, being the stalwart of the bullpen. And yeah, I'm expecting a big year for the Cubs, and Palencia is going to play a key role in that.
Well, if you couldn't tell
Yeah,
now go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say I like that. I honestly didn't even think of him when I was thinking of guys. I was pretty locked in on Abner Uribe after. I don't know why that's immediately where my brain went to when I was like, all right, not Edwin Diaz. I'm like, I know Abner Uribe. But yeah, I like that pick. Go ahead, George. Sorry.
Nope, all good. I obviously have the same pick there. You could probably tell with my reaction. Bit of a homer pick too. Palencia, he can be a bit erratic at times and walk guys and throw wild pitches. But he has a fastball that sits right around 100. He's got great stuff and another year of experience. I think when Craig Counsell came out pretty early on in spring training, it's pretty rare, I think, for a manager to come out and say a guy who was not the closer all season last year and did struggle at points to give him a full vote of confidence and just come out and straight up say, yeah, Daniel's our closer. That's that. He is our closer going into the regular season. There is no competition. That's definitely a big boost to your confidence level there. And he's going to strike a lot of people out. If he can just keep that fastball under control, he's going to be electric.
All right, moving on to the. I wish there was a cool name for manager of the year. Like I don't know, we should have let off. We should have ended with the Rolaids release.
Boss
man,
of the
that's
year.
The best one we do. Yes, yeah. The Michael Scott boss of the year.
Yep.
You get a coffee mug
Dundee.
for winning. Yes. So over in the American League, I've got Matt Quatrero. I think I pronounced that correctly. The Royals manager. I have them sneaking into that final wild card spot and being a team that's back on the rise after a little bit of a step back last year. So, yep, I got Quatrero. I don't know why I struggle with the Q in that. Quatrero. I'm gonna have to keep at that for the rest of the season. But who do you guys got?
It's kind of surprising that in both leagues, the 2 years before here, we had Pat Murphy and Stephen Vogt win the manager of the year, both times. But I'm going with Dan Wilson of the Seattle Mariners. I said that I think they're pretty comfortably going to be the best team in the American League. He's going to be a big part of that. It also helps that he has never won the award, and the voters for this award, for some reason, just love giving it out to new people, new up-and-comers until last season. So I think Dan Wilson is going to win it this year.
My pick for this award is AJ Hinch. I think the Tigers are going to have a really solid season. They blew that lead last season. I think it was like 16 and a half games with a month and a half or a month left to go against Cleveland. Got the revenge in the wild card round and then lost that heartbreaker to Seattle in ALDS game number 5. But I just think the Pirates. Oh, that gives away my next next award. I just think the Tigers are going to have a really nice year. AJ Hench, World Series winner as a manager, even though it does have an asterisk next to it. He knows what he's doing. He's going to have these Tigers in the right place, and I like Hinch to win that award.
George, you want to just wrap things around with the NL?
Yep, I am going here with Don Kelly. I think it was a very smart move for the Pirates to get rid of Derek Shelton. I have no idea what the Twins were doing hiring him. He is a bad manager, in my opinion. I know you don't have a lot to deal with when you're in Pittsburgh, and Kelly is definitely getting a more fair shake, I guess, in terms of being on a more level playing field because he does have a lot more talent than Shelton ever did in Pittsburgh. It's probably bad that I'm picking a team in the National League, their manager, to win the award when I don't have them making the playoffs, but that is my pick here. I think the Pirates are going to have a solid season, and I think they're going to be in that wild card discussion.
I am going with another guy who has shockingly never won this award. I'm going with Craig Counsell of the Cubs,
Okay,
one of the
I
best
like that
managers in baseball. I said it in our NL Central preview, but I have the Cubs kind of running away with this division. And typically, like I said, the voters like to give it to first timers, and somehow he's never won this award yet, even though he had some great seasons with the Brewers. So I have Counsell finally getting one this year.
So I was between two guys with mine. I was between Dave Roberts and Craig Counsell. I think Roberts, again, is kind of a chalky pick. I think, like I said a million times, that the Dodgers are going to rival the Mariners win total. So I feel like it's hard to give a guy Manager of the Year award for just trotting out his all-star team every night. But also, if they break the win record, I don't know how you don't give it to him. But I also went with Craig Counsell. I feel like the Cubs have kind of been waiting for him to show them why they made him the highest paid manager in baseball, stealing him away from their rival in the Brewers. And obviously, I think last year was a nice first step for that. But I think that we were all on the same page that we think the Cubs are going to take a pretty big step forward in their success this season. And I think Counsell is going to be a large part of that. I don't think behind Palencia that the Cubs bullpen is particularly great, so I think he's going to have to push the right buttons, and for the Cubs to win these games late, he's going to be able to do that. So yeah, I got Craig Counsell also winning that NL Manager of the Year.
Two very
finally,
good picks by you guys right there.
And you didn't even pick your own guy. You went with someone in your own division that you don't have making the playoffs. So unreal. Finally, we've made it. The World Series, our World Series predictions. I went shock. I don't see the Dodgers not winning the World Series this year. I don't know how they don't. They're just an absolute super team. David, you called them an Avengers level lineup. I completely agree. I have them beating the Mariners. Obviously, anything can happen in a 7-game series, and especially when you have a pitching staff and a rotation as good as the Mariners, they obviously are more than capable of taking down this Dodgers lineup. I wish I was picking somebody else. I hate picking chalk, and I want to see somebody different win the World Series, like, I don't know, say the Boston Red Sox, but I just don't see it. I think the Dodgers are too good. They've broken the system. So yeah, I've got Dodgers over Mariners.
Now I'm going the opposite. I'm going Mariners over Dodgers just because I feel like being different. I don't know if there's a better team to match up with the Dodgers than the Mariners, just given how good their pitching staff is. And they came one win away from making the World Series last year and having their shot to beat the Dodgers. I think they're going to get over the hump this year, and I have them winning the whole thing for the first time in franchise history.
I have the same two teams here, but I am going with Zach as well. The Dodgers, I just think they're just too dominant in my book. Anything can happen in any series in the playoffs, and the Dodgers have certainly had their woes before they went back-to-back here in 24 and 25. But just they keep adding on. They keep adding big names. It's hard to imagine a team not named the Dodgers winning the World Series. I sure hope it is not, but yeah, I don't see anybody slowing down this Dodger train. I do have the Dodgers beating the Mariners in the World Series, but at least the Mariners do get to their first ever Fall Classic.
I do wonder if it's a way bigger advantage than we're giving it credit for that the Mariners get to play in Seattle at the end of October with that pitching staff. I think maybe that could maybe home field decides that series where their pitching staff just completely takes over and I guess limits as best you can the Dodgers lineup of a bunch of Hall of Famers. But yeah, it's pretty bleak. I mean, obviously, I think we all agreed that the Dodgers aren't ruining baseball per se, but it just sucks. I'm a guy that wants to see parity, and actually, that's a lie. I don't want to see parity. I want to see the Red Sox win the World Series every single year
and go 162-0.
Yes, bingo. Yes, so it sucks. Like I said, they're the modern day evil empire, and I don't think they're the ones to blame for ruining the sport. But I think with the way that things are trending, this is going to be the last year that they're able to operate at the way they are going. We are headed for a lockout and a Dodgers three-peat leading us right into that. I believe the day that it starts it's December 2nd, right when it hits midnight. So when we hit December 2nd at midnight, the Dodgers will have propelled us into a lockout because we're going to blame them instead of cheap owners like Bob Nutting. So
it's a good take. Yeah, I'm just going to say enjoy baseball for this season while we have it, because I think we are trending towards that lockout, and who knows how long that lasts. I know last time it happened, it only took maybe a couple weeks off the start of the season, but this one could be a lengthy one. I hope we at least have some baseball next year, but like I said, enjoy it while we have it, because these two sides are going to go at it in 2027.
Yep, I agree with you guys. fully there. I think there will be a lockout. I do think they eventually get something done and they do take the field, because losing an entire season with the amount of momentum that they have going for them right now, with the viewership and attendance and everything that they have going their way and the things that they have done, even though I'm not a big fan of a lot of the changes, it is good to see that the younger crowd is starting to like baseball again, as it should be. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. I can't wait to watch some baseball all day tomorrow and this weekend, and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for next Friday, get back to Fenway, be there on Saturday doing the Spanish radio game. But yeah, like you said, David, I'm just going to enjoy the season while we have it, and we'll worry about a lockout 9 months from now, or I guess a little under 9 months from now. But if we do get there, I just want to let you guys know there's plenty of room on the NC Dinos bandwagon from my my COVID KBO days. There's plenty of room on the Swole Daddy bandwagon.
I'm more of a Kiwoom Heroes fan myself, but
big mistake.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I got to pick a team,
Damn,
apparently. I don't have one.
Nope.
I don't think I've tuned into a game yet. So maybe I'll do some research in the wee hours of the morning one of these days.
My KBO research was simply looking at their mascots when they were starting up during COVID, and I found out that the Dinos mascot was named Swole Daddy, and I was in.
That is hard to beat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was the easiest decision of all time. But we'll worry about that when KBO season starts up next year and we don't have Major League Baseball. That's going to be a wrap on our season preview series, 7 parts. We did it, fellas. I had a ton of fun doing this with both of you guys. Obviously, I do two separate podcasts with you guys, and this was our first collab, but the first of many, because this was a blast. So appreciate you guys indulging in my ridiculous idea from a couple months ago. But yeah, ton of fun.
It was a blast, George. Like I said on the first one, it's great to finally meet you relatively face to face, and it was a lot of fun having you on. And hopefully, like I said, we can get you on Entering Kenmore as well, because I mean, you're a ball knower, and we would be fools not to let you in front of the mic and talk baseball more often.
Yeah, I'm happy to come on anytime. This was a ton of fun. Great idea. David, same to you. Great meeting you, even though it is over the computer. It's been a ton of fun here. Can't wait to keep working on some other stuff with you guys. And yeah, anytime you guys want me on the pod, I am more than happy to join.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give us all a follow. You can find me on Twitter at @co_Zach, David at DAzer27, George at GGGabra. You can follow the pods at Entering Kenmore and at Ramble On Pod. Also the same for those on TikTok, and be sure to give George a follow on TikTok. Saw some baseball content from him today. Hubie Davis TikTok, as the coaching carousel in college basketball is in full effect. That is at GGG Sports. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.